I didn't just want to, like, compare myself to you and then villainize you, which is what most people do. I wanted the friendship. So I was like, "Okay, I need to work through my stuff." But that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I really believe that, like, it's that makes female friendships so challenging.
We see other people giving us dirty looks, like it happens. Stop apologizing for how beautiful you are. Stop apologizing for how extraordinary you are. Stop apologizing for how witty, how intelligent, how strong and capable you are.
Everybody, it's Bianca.
And it's Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, 30. It's a good number. Motivation Monday, redefining loneliness. For today, number 304, how to have better female friends. I hear so often from women that they have such a hard time being friends with other women, making female friends, feeling like they get along so much better with guys because it's easier. And I definitely fell into
Mhm.
this. And I know from us talking, you have too in the past. I think this is a super important dialogue to get into so that women can start to feel a better sense of connection with each other. Honestly, the way that you and I have, because we've built a really, really solid relationship between the two of us. And it came with no shortage of effort, which I think is important to dive into and important to talk about. Like, what are the components that even make that a
Mhm.
possibility?
Yeah. So I remember actually at this topic, how to have better female friends. This topic brings me way back to when I was really young. And I remember saying, I forget who it was, but I think it was my mother's, maybe, or one of my friends, where all of my friends was a bunch of guys. And I know you experienced this too. Like I was more of a tomboy than I was a girly girl growing up because guys just at that time had way more fun. I loved playing outdoors. I didn't love playing with my little Barbies, although that was kind of a part of it. I like love playing outdoors and skateboarding and doing all the things that guys got to do when I was younger. So I just remember my circle being a lot more male dominated than
Mm.
female dominated. And what I had said with this person, be it my mom or my friend or whomever, I said, you know what? Girls just are so drama riddled. There's so much drama with the girls. Like I can never just have like an easy, relaxed, chill relationship. And that's something from a very young age that I always sought. Now I understand the elements now better than ever. Be you and I have both gone through our own experience, and what I was really saying in hindsight is this element that I want to bring forward to our listeners that I have clients that go through this. I've gone through this so many different times. But the truth is that female to female interrelationships, so friendships, require far more resources and it drains our resources or requires more of that emotional investment than it does when you compare male to male relationships, because oftentimes and more often than not, the science shows that male to male relationships, friendships are far more just kind of on the set it and forget it, like pick back up where you left off. There's not like if you didn't talk to one another after 3 years, there's not a lot of drama and an emotional like personalization or you didn't love me type of stuff. And while I'm kind of poking fun at my own experience and kind of just laying it how it is, what happens when we go into these friendships? And I know a lot of our listeners, be you and I included, have had so much of a struggle to try to, number one, create really meaningful female friendships like you and I have. And then number two, be able to maintain them in a way that doesn't take, and drain you. And then third, what do you do when you're just maintaining a relationship and not growing it? it requires so much more effort to develop it, to deepen it, to really expand it and broaden it like you and I have done. And I think that those are the components that I really want to bring into this episode. Though it be a hot step episode, I think that those are the components that are worth exploring when we talk about this concept around how to have better female friends, because I have a client in mind, and she's the one owed to this whole conversation, where she and I were on the call last week, and coaching call, and she said, you know, like, as much as I love my friend, I want to spend way more time with her, and it's always a pain point that I can't see her. But here's the thing, she she knows that it requires so much more of her effort to be able to do that while she's maintaining a household, while she's maintaining a family, while she has pets, while she has all of these things, a whole career. It's hard. And if it requires more resources, and that at the end of the day, if you're exhausted, the last thing that you're going to think about is, how do I go hang out with my friends? And as we get older, it is definitely a challenge. So that's the topic that we need to talk about. And there's a different dynamic to it that all of us are knowing when we click on this episode that not a lot of people talk about. So, B, talk to us about the other angle that you're bringing, because so much of that is so important when we talk about female friends.
You know what's so funny? I didn't even think about this until we just started talking about it, but this is also why lesbian relationships, there's like such a running joke about them that they're so intense and extreme. Because when you
I can only
you put
imagine.
2 emotionally charged women in an experience together where there's intimacy, but also the relationship, but also all these other things, it's like, yeah, hello.
It's
Recipe for
a lot.
disaster if you're both not extremely emotionally intelligent and have
Yeah.
a really high, like, threshold for communication and all these other just really important dynamics that you and I dive into. So,
Yeah.
wow, so funny. But another huge, huge part of this, and honestly, I've experienced this too in the dating world, is the amount of comparison that we make with other women and the feelings of being threatened in
Yeah.
female relationships. Like, we are in a society, we're in a world, not even just a society, we're in a world where women are always pinned against each other.
Oh, yeah.
There's these really extreme comparisons that are made between women, among women, whatever. And when we are always at war with each other, basically to get male attention or to get a job position, because not many women, there's statistics around like women in jobs and whatever the case may be, but when we're always fighting against each other, it's hard to make friendships because
Mhm.
those thoughts and beliefs are just all coming up. And when you already feel bad about yourself, because let's be honest, most people do, and then you're trying to get into a relationship or like a female friendship or whatever with another woman, all of those thoughts and feelings are coming up,
Yeah.
and the comparison and your insecurities and their insecurities, and then you guys can't talk about it, and it becomes a whole thing.
Hello, my name is Bree, and I'm head of Evolve Ventures Media and Energies. So I would say my experience at Evolve has been absolutely amazing. I have learned and grown and done so many things that I didn't imagine that I'd be doing just over a year ago. So I'm really happy to be a part of the team, and I encourage anyone who has the opportunity to join. Yeah, so this is an experience that I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else. So it's definitely unique, and there's so many like-minded people, whether it's on the team or in our community, that can be by your side and support you. So that is an awesome experience.
And you and I have talked about so often that this happens with you and I like crazy,
Yeah.
like crazy, because women compare themselves to us. And unfortunately, a lot of women and a lot of men don't have the emotional intelligence and the emotional awareness to be able to regulate their emotions and have vulnerable dialogues of like, I feel insecure. I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time. And I struggled with this with you when we first met.
Yeah.
But I was honest about it. And I
Truth.
told you, like, "Em, I feel threatened by you. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time. Like, you're so much this and you're that, and I feel this way. And can we talk about it?" Because I
Mhm.
wanted the friendship so bad. I didn't just
Right.
want to, like, compare myself to you and then villainize you, which is what most people do. I wanted the friendship. So I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I need to work through my stuff."
Yeah.
But that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I really believe that, like, it's that makes female friendships so challenging, and
Yeah.
any sort of female relationship, because the amount of comparison that happens and women feeling like they're all pinned against each other. Like, at
Mhm.
the gym, you and I have talked about this. Holy, death stare central. You and I at the gym,
Yeah.
because we're not taught to celebrate other women who are doing really well. We're taught to look at ourselves, think badly of ourselves, judge and villainize them, and then say, "Well, you
Yeah.
know what? They're this, they're that."
Right. Right.
Instead of the instead of processing our own inner narrative and having vulnerability and humility and courage, which is really freaking hard,
Mhm.
working through all of that.
Yeah.
So, number 1, I am so grateful that you and I have been able to do that, because our friendship I cherish
Same.
more than anything, more than any
Same,
other
dude.
relationship I've ever had. I cherish this so much, because
Same.
our ability to work through these things has made this relationship so fulfilling, this friendship so fulfilling. And look
Mhm.
at what we're doing as a result of it. So,
Thanks.
number 2, for any women and anyone who identifies as female listening to this who wants more female friendships, it really comes down to, number 1, identifying what are the things that are getting in the way of you being able to show up in these relationships, because you got to start with you.
Right.
And then number 2, who are the people that you're trying to build these relationships with, and are they also doing the inner work that's going to allow for them to have courage, humility, vulnerability, all of these really, really critical components, so that you can have an amazing relationship where it's not judgment and comparison and villainizing and whatever else the case may be.
Yeah, there's it's always so fascinating and I'm so grateful for our relationship and I genuinely like I consider it like a sisterhood. Like
Yeah.
I the amount of fulfillment that comes from having a sisterhood like relationship is something that I wish every woman could have. And I know a lot of people, clients included, that have friends that want to believe that their friendships are like a sisterhood, but really don't get to that level of depth that having a really, really great friend has. And that's often, is it quantity over quality or quality over quantity? I'm so for the quality over quantity because you can have 5 friends and you can have 1,500 friends on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, but like, who are those go to rocks that you can really, really come back to and have not just them validate you throughout your entire life, but have them really celebrate you, honor you, have those courageous, vulnerable conversations with you so that they're not the people that have, if I look at my past, just lined up out the door who have villainized and who have avoided me because of deep, 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 deep down, their biggest insecurities being highlighted by being in my presence. And that's the thing when it comes to female friends, this is always something that is here. And I want all of our listeners, especially the women in our community, shout out to you for not villainizing us and for leaning into this evolved journey because it is so common that the women that come into the evolves world just leave and don't get the value that they could from this community because their exiles are comparing themselves to us or comparing themselves to someone else in this community. And imagine a world where we recognized our comparison, we recognized our insecurities, and we took the steps necessary to overcome that because we valued having better friendships in our life more than we valued villainizing and avoiding what we fear and what we're anxious about. And that's the thing. because we know, statistically speaking, and this is where I'll end this episode, when we have better friends, when we have better relationships, we have a better quality of life, and we have better odds statistically of living longer, healthier, more fulfilled lives. And that's what this is all about. So, how to have better female friends in this conversation. There's so much in here. And I want to continue this conversation on Evolve Venture Society. So maybe we'll put up a post, and I want to hear the women in our community what your experience has been like, because I know that it's so hard for so many women, given the thing that I talked about with my client early on, and given the thing that you had mentioned about the comparison stuff. It feels like a double-edged sword, and it is brutal, but the thing is, there are people out there like you and I that do have really extraordinary female friends. And it's taken work to have that. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of all the women who don't stop trying to find and attract those better female friends in their life. It is an arduous track, but it is so deeply worth it. So, uh, my episode suggestion for this episode in closing is 275. It's a Motivation Monday, how to stop apologizing for who you are. Often as women, we apologize for who we are because our presence, as amazing and as emboldened as we are, it can trigger someone's insecurity. And we sense that. Let's be real. We get it when we walk in a room and we own it and we see other people giving us dirty looks. Like, it happens. Stop apologizing for how beautiful you are. Stop apologizing for how extraordinary you are. Stop apologizing for how witty, how intelligent, how strong and capable you are. And that's what that episode will help you do. Be you.
Hell yeah. Huh. Oh, that's awesome. 256, what to do when others let you down. It's very hard when relationships and friendships end because of these insecurities, because of these challenges. So that episode will be really good to help you understand, what do you do when that inevitably happens.
Facts.
All right, everybody, go join Evolve Venture Society. We are going to put that in the group. It is a private group filled with amazing people just like you, where you can actually develop these really amazing friendships. Plus, you get to talk to Emilia and I, and what would be better than that? Nothing. We're amazing. No, I'm totally kidding. But you do get more time with us. So
For sure.
there we go. All right, everybody. Have an amazing week. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.